You walked into that bank, you had your passport, you had your documents, maybe you even had money in your pocket, and they still said no. No explanation, no real reason, just rejected. If this happened to you, I want you to know something right now. It was not your fault. And more importantly, it is completely fixable, but only if you understand what is actually happening behind the scenes, because the bank will never tell you the real reason they said no. That is exactly what this video is about. I am going to break down every single reason why your bank application was rejected, what these banks are secretly checking that they never tell you about, and then I am going to give you the exact step-by-step path to get approved, whether you are in the UK or the USA. Stay with me until the end, because the last section alone could save you months of frustration. Let us start with the most important thing you need to understand when you arrive in a new country. Whether that is the UK or the USA, you are financially invisible. That is not an insult, it is just the truth. The system here has never heard of you. It does not matter if you had a perfect credit score back home, a great job, or money saved for years. The moment you land, you are starting from absolute zero in the eyes of every bank and lender in this country. And here is where most immigrants make the first big mistake. They walk straight into a big bank, a Chase, a Barclays, a NatWest, and they apply like a normal customer would. The system runs your name, finds nothing, and the automated process flags you as unknown risk, rejected, and you have no idea why. So let me tell you exactly what is happening inside that system. In the USA, every bank runs something called a ChexSystems report on you. Think of it like a credit score, but specifically for your banking history. Have you ever had a bank account closed because of unpaid fees? You will be flagged. But here's the part that surprises most immigrants. If you have no ChexSystems record at all, some banks actually treat that as suspicious too. No history means no trust, and so you get rejected not because you did something wrong, but because you did nothing at all. There is also something called OFAC screening, both in the UK and the USA. This is where the bank checks your name against an international sanctions list. Now, you are obviously not on a sanctions list, but if your name is a common name from certain countries, the automated system can trigger what is called a false positive, a false match, and the bank will not tell you this is the reason. They will just say something vague like, "We are unable to open an account for you at this time," and you will walk away confused, thinking you did something wrong. Then there is the address problem. This one affects so many people and almost nobody talks about it. When you first arrive, where are you staying? Maybe a friend's house, maybe a student hostel, maybe an Airbnb. You write that address on your application, and the bank quietly cross-checks it against the electoral roll and the credit bureau database. If there is any mismatch, and there almost always is when you are new, the system flags it and rejects you automatically. No human even looks at your file. And finally, your visa type matters more than most banks will admit publicly. If you are in the USA on a B1 or B2 tourist visa, or in the UK on a standard visitor visa, many banks will not open an account for you at all. This is not written anywhere obvious on their websites. You just get rejected and wonder what went wrong. Now that you understand why the rejection happened, let me talk about what to do about it, starting from day one. If you are in the USA, here's the most important thing I can tell you right now. You do not need a social security number to open a bank account. I will say that again. You do not need an SSN. Banks will often make you feel like you do, but it is not legally required. What you can use instead is something called an ITIN, an Individual Taxpayer Identification Number. Banks like Bank of America, Citibank, and HSBC USA officially accept an ITIN in place of an SSN. Some banks will even accept just your foreign passport. But honestly, if you just arrived, do not start with a traditional bank at all. On day one, download Chime or Majority. These are fintech apps, digital banks. And you can open an account in about 10 minutes using just your passport. No SSN, no ITIN, no proof of address, no monthly fees. Get your basic account working immediately so you can receive money and make payments from day one. Then, over the next few weeks, gather your documents and start the process of applying to a proper bank with your ITIN and proof of address. If you are in the UK, the process is very similar. On day one, download Moniz or Monzo. Moniz was actually built specifically for immigrants. It accepts newcomers with just a passport and a selfie. No UK address history, no credit history, nothing. You are set up in 15 minutes. Monzo is equally easy and completely free. These apps will be your financial base while you get settled. Within your first 2 weeks in the UK, go to the gov.uk website and register for your national insurance number. You need this for work and for building any kind of credit history. As soon as you have a permanent address, register yourself on the electoral roll. This is voter registration, and it is one of the single most powerful things you can do for your credit score in the UK. Even if you cannot vote as an immigrant, you may still be able to register depending on your visa, and the credit score benefit is real. Now let us talk about credit scores, because this is the part that will affect your life here more than almost anything else. In the USA, the credit score runs from 300 to 850. Think of it as your financial reputation number. If you have no history, you have no number at all. Lenders call this being credit invisible, and about 26 million people in America are in this situation. Most of them are immigrants. Your first score will only appear after 3 to 6 months of having at least one account that is actively reporting to the credit bureaus. The biggest factor in your score, 35% of it, is simply whether you pay on time, every time, without exception. One single missed payment in the USA can stay on your credit report for 7 years. 7 years. So autopay is not optional. Set it up immediately on every account you open. The second biggest factor is something called credit utilization. That is 30% of your score. This means how much of your available credit limit you are actually using. If your credit card limit is $1,000 and you are spending $900 on it every month, the system sees that as risky behavior, even if you pay it off. The rule of thumb is to keep your usage below 30% of your limit at all times. Below 10% is even better. To actually start building credit in the USA, your best first move is a secured credit card. This is a card where you put down a deposit, maybe $200 or $300, and that becomes your spending limit. You use it for small things, groceries, a subscription, gas. Then you pay the full balance every single month. After about 6 months of doing this consistently, you will have a real credit score, probably somewhere between 580 and 650. That is enough to start opening more doors. In the UK, the credit system works a little differently. There are 3 separate credit agencies, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, and they each have different scoring scales. But here is the important thing to understand. Lenders in the UK do not just look at your score number. They use their own internal systems to decide whether to approve you. So a good Experian score is helpful, but it does not guarantee approval. Your credit history from your home country means absolutely nothing here in the UK, unless your country is one of the few connected to a service called NovaCredit or Credit Passport, which can transfer your history from places like India, Canada, the USA, or Mexico to UK lenders. This service is still growing, but it is worth checking if your home country is included. To start building UK credit, get a SIM-only phone contract, not pay-as-you-go. A monthly phone contract gets reported to the credit agencies and starts building your history. Then, after a few months, apply for a credit builder card like Aqua or Vanquis. Yes, the interest rate is high, but you are not paying interest, because you are paying the full balance every month. You are using the card purely as a tool to build your score. After 6 to 12 months of this, your score will start appearing and growing. Now I want to talk about the hidden costs, the fees that nobody warns you about, but that can quietly drain your money if you are not careful. In the USA, most big banks advertise free checking accounts, but read the small print. Chase charges you $12 a month unless you either have a direct deposit of $500 or maintain a daily balance of $1,500. Wells Fargo is $10 a month with similar conditions. These fees sound small, but if you are in the early months and your income is not stable yet, they add up fast. The overdraft fees are even worse. Some banks in the USA charge $35 every single time you overdraw your account, and some will charge this multiple times in one day. One day of not paying attention to your balance can cost you over $100 in fees alone. Never send international money through your traditional bank. They will charge you $25 to $50 per transfer and give you a terrible exchange rate on top of that. Use Wise or Remitly instead. You will pay a fraction of the cost for the same transfer. In the UK, the hidden costs are similar. International ATM withdrawals cost you 2 to 3% plus a fixed fee. Sending money internationally via SWIFT through a traditional bank costs 15 to 30 pounds. And if you go into an unarranged overdraft, meaning you spend more than your balance without a pre-approved overdraft, some banks charge up to £8 a day. Since the FCA introduced stricter rules, this is now capped at £35 per month, but that is still money you should never be losing. The simple solution for both countries is to start with the fintech accounts. Chime or Majority in the USA, Monzo or Starling in the UK. None of them charge monthly fees. None of them charge UK ATM fees. And their international transfer options are far cheaper than traditional banks. Let me quickly go through the most common mistakes I see immigrants and students make, because knowing these could save you a lot of time and money. The first mistake is applying to multiple banks at the same time. Every time a bank does a full credit check on you, it creates what is called a hard inquiry on your report, and each one slightly lowers your score. Apply to one bank at a time. If that does not work, understand why before applying somewhere else. The second mistake is maxing out your credit card. Even if you pay it off every month, if the statement shows a high balance, it damages your utilization ratio and hurts your score. Keep the spending low relative to your limit. The third mistake, and this one surprises people, is closing your first credit card once you get a better one. Your oldest account is your most valuable one for your credit history length, which counts for 15% of your USA credit score. Keep it open, even if you barely use it. And the fourth mistake, specifically in the USA, is not checking your ChexSystems report before applying to banks. You can get one free report per year at ChexSystems.com. Check it before you apply anywhere, so you know exactly what banks will see when they look you up. Here is something that gives a lot of people real hope, and I want to make sure you know about it. In the USA, there is a service called Nova Credit. American Express and several credit unions now participate in this. If you are coming from India, Mexico, Canada, the Philippines, Australia, Germany, or the UK, your home credit history can actually be translated and submitted to US lenders. This means you do not have to start from absolute zero if your home country is on that list. Go to novacredit.com and check if your country qualifies. In the UK, the same service is growing. Credit Passport launched a UK version that allows immigrants from select countries, including the USA, Canada, and India, to import their home credit score to UK lenders. It is still limited, but it is expanding. Also in the UK, under FCA regulations, every major bank is legally required to offer what is called a basic bank account to anyone who is legally in the country. This account has no overdraft and no credit features, but it works. It accepts payments and lets you make purchases. If any high street bank refuses to open even a basic account for you without a good reason, that bank may actually be in violation of FCA rules. You have the legal right to escalate that. So let me bring this all together for you with a clear picture of what the next 12 to 18 months can look like if you follow the right steps. In the USA, day 1, you open Chime with just your passport. Month 1 or 2, you open a real bank account using your ITIN. Month 2 or 3, you get a secured credit card and start using it for small amounts every month, paying it off fully every time. By month 6, you have a real credit score, probably between 580 and 650. By month 12 to 18, you have a score above 700, and suddenly your life looks completely different. Car loans at reasonable rates, apartments without massive deposits, phone contracts, better credit cards with actual rewards, all of it becomes available. In the UK, day 1, you open Moniz or Monzo with just your passport. Week 1 or 2, you register for your national insurance number. Month 1, you register on the electoral roll. Month 2 or 3, you get a SIM-only phone contract. Month 3 to 6, you get a credit builder card. By month 6, your score starts appearing. By month 12, you are ready to move to a full-service account and a proper credit card. The system was not built with immigrants in mind, but now that you understand how it actually works, the real rules, the hidden checks, the quiet rejections, you are not playing blind anymore. You know exactly what to do, and you know exactly where to start. If this video helped you, share it with someone who just moved here and is going through this right now. They need to see this. And if you want the step-by-step checklist version of everything I just covered, check the description below. I have put it all together for you. See you in the next one.